Hey everybody, this is Regan Adams with All Things Regan. Thank you so much for joining me this evening. So I'm not going to be before you long because I'm just getting home. Well, I've been home, but I've been sitting out in the car, and I like out in the car and kind of decompressing from the day. So anyway, I wanted to talk about self-sabotage, and I lied to y'all. I said I was going to do this video earlier in the week, and it didn't happen, so I apologize. Am I actually even ready to talk about this video? No, but I am going to talk about it to the best of my ability. I had this is called Get Naked. And don't think I'm talking about getting naked for real. But anyway, I want to talk about self-sabotage because you guys know, if you don't know, I'm Regan Adams with All Things Regan, and I have a portion of my business is called Dating is Dead, Who Killed It. That is for all things relationships. So that will be for married people, single people, dating people, people in situationships, anything, just all things relationships. And why did I start the group? I started it because nobody really talked to us, especially black people, about dating and marriage. And so I wanted to have the conversation. And also, I'm newly single. I've been single less than a year. I was married for 14 years. And so I'm kind of new to the dating scene, and I like it, but there's some things I don't like about it, and that's kind of what I want to talk about tonight. So, all of my friends, well, not all of them, for the most part, they are single. And so we're kind of going through this thing together, which is great because we kind of have each other to kind of bounce things off of. And one thing that I absolutely love about my friends is that they are honest, and they can tell me, things that I need to know, or they think that I need to know in love. And we were all kind of talking about our situations or whatever one day, and they were asking me about my situations or whatever, and so I was talking about that. And they were like, how is it that you are like, when we get somebody or we kind of hanging out with somebody or doing whatever, you're super excited about your stuff, our stuff, but when it comes to yours, it's kind of like, you find something wrong with everybody. And I was like, do I? And they were like, yeah, like you just pick people apart. And I do. And so I had to really sit with that, because one thing about me is, yes, I am stubborn, and I like to have my own way and have things how I want it. But one thing I do is I listen. So I may not say anything on the onset to you about whatever you said, but I'm going to put it in my back pocket and think about it. And so one of my friends was like, you self-sabotage. And I was like, I do? And I was like, yeah. And so I had to think, why do I self-sabotage? So I had to sit with myself and kind of think about like the people that I have been, kind of talking to or whatever. And I believe that there's a fear there. So I want to talk about that fear. And so for those who don't know, what Regan says is it's all transparent stuff. Things that have happened to me, currently happening to me, things that I see, conversations that I have, because I have a lot of conversations on the daily with different people all the time. I love to hear conversations about a little bit of everything, but I specifically talk about relationships probably every day for the most part, and why people do what they do and why they think and act the way they think and act. And the crazy thing is, side note, is when I first started college, that is what I wanted to be. I wanted to be a psychiatrist or a psychologist, to know why people do what they do. And I don't know why I didn't follow that. I don't think, my dad was like, nobody make no money in that, so I didn't do it. But anyway, long story short. So anyway, fast forward, my friends were like, you self-sabotage your relationships. The people that you get to know, you find something wrong with everybody. And so my friend and I, Crystal, we were talking like, we just don't understand why people say it's hard to date, because it's really not. Like, especially if you're on a dating app, men are like buses. Like I would say every 15 minutes, but it's, more than that. So if you're interesting or interested, it's not really hard to get picked up or have a conversation. And so it's easy also to kind of weed through people that you don't want to deal with, right? And so, you have some that stick and you have conversations over the course of, however long, but those don't really last long. So, I might tell them about one person and they'd be like, oh, okay, so what's up with him? Like, X, Y, and Z. And they're like, okay, oh, here we go. So what about such and such? Yeah. So nobody is making the cut. So they're like, man, why do you keep self-sabotaging? And so I believe that it is a fear, a couple of things. So for those who don't know, I was married for, like I said, 14 years. I met him when I was 19. And the fear is, even though he was a good guy, the fear is I don't want to be with anybody that looks anything like him. And I don't mean like physically look like him. I mean like just some of the characteristics that he had, I don't want. And I don't want to make the same mistake when I get in another relationship. So essentially I'm a relationship person. So let's just put that out there and be clear. I'm a relationship person. I love everything about relationships. That's why I have a dating group. Especially like the first part of dating relationships. But I don't want to make that same mistake when it comes to, the relationship that I had. Also, let me see. Probably a little bit too much thinking. That's one of the things I hate about dating is overthinking. And it comes from both ends. People are so busy trying to be who you think the other person wants to be that you can't be yourself. And I hate that, because for me, I don't like to think too hard about stuff. Like, I just like having genuine conversation. So if I'm getting to know you, I don't want to have to keep pulling back layers, which I know, I guess that's a double standard. Everybody has layers, so nobody's just going to be like, here, take all of me, like the first conversation. But it shouldn't be like pulling teeth to get to know somebody. And like for me, because I love having conversations so much, it's hard to be like, I don't like really surface conversation. I'm not one of those people that like small talk. That bothers me. So, hey, how's the weather? Like, typically, to be honest, and I keep saying I'm going to have to kind of curtail how I talk about my dating situations. I don't like small talk. I just don't. Hey, how's the weather? How's your day? Yeah, cool. But let's talk about, some deeper issues. Not deep, but just be yourself. And some people are so busy just holding up the wall, and what do they think? And I don't think I need to say that. And I find myself doing it. So I'm not just saying that it's the other person. I find myself doing it, but I don't like it. Like, I don't like it. I want to talk about, we don't necessarily have to talk about past relationships, but sometimes we do, because, some people have been really hurt to the fact that it's hard for them to even be in a relationship and trust. And I spent a lot of time by myself to work on myself to make sure that I was ready for a relationship. And I'm still working on myself. Matter of fact, I have a therapy appointment tomorrow, because I'm realizing some things as I'm dating that are problems. And I know that I want to be in a committed relationship on down the street and eventually married again. And so I have to get those things fixed. Like, yes, I love Jesus, but he also put, doctors on earth to be able to help us. And I want to be able to help. And so, what'd you say, Rena? Me either, Erkin. Yeah, I don't like small talk. But I just wish everybody could come into the fold of dating, or even being like with friendships, just being you, like being open. Don't come in with a wild thinking, somebody's going to hurt you. Being like tiptoeing on things. I just like genuine conversation. And I have a lot of therapy friends, friends that are therapists, which I absolutely love, because I'm daily learning, and they can psychoanalyze me all they want to. I'm here for it. Because at the end of the day, like, I ask so many questions. I just want to know, like, I just genuinely want to know who I am, why I'm here, and help people as I help myself, right? And, you know, he was telling me, one of my therapy friends, he was like, I had told him about a situation, and he said, you really need to get to counseling. And I was like, yeah, I do. So I definitely did not procrastinate. My therapy appointment is tomorrow at 5 o'clock. So I'm super duper excited about that. Because it's one step closer for me to be able to not only help myself, but help other people, right? And let people know that there's nothing wrong with getting therapy. There's nothing wrong with being a better version of yourself. Because like I said, I absolutely loved being married. I loved being married. I loved being a wife. I loved serving my husband in every facet of the word, like I just did. And I know when I get married again, I'm going to be 10 times better because I'm able to communicate. But going back to the self-sabotage, I think sometimes if we've come out of bad relationships, we feel like maybe if we've been used to being in a bad relationship, if the next person that we're talking to, like, oh, this seems too good to be true. Because I want to talk about this, but I can't because I said I was going to curtail what I talk about pertaining to dating while I'm dating. Sometimes you can come out of a bad situation. And I'm not bitter about my divorce. I'm not bitter about my husband passing away. I'm not bitter about any of that. I'm at peace with that. But sometimes you can come out of a relationship where you see traits of years and years of certain things, then you may meet somebody else that kind of checks off a lot of your boxes. And I'm just like, no, wait a minute. This seems too good to be true. Like, they're really laid back, or, you know, they don't fuss, or, you know, they don't do certain things that you're used to seeing. Toxic traits. You don't see that in this person or whoever you're talking to. And so when you see it, it's kind of like you try to find something that's wrong with them and say, you know what? Yeah, I ain't fooling with them, because like you try to find something wrong because you're scared that it might be right, which is crazy. Like, how can you have something that's right for you when you see it in your face and it's just like, I want it, but maybe I don't deserve it. Maybe it's not real. And, you know, we're scared to get hurt. And I really want to take the lid off of that when it comes to dating instead. And so I have just been thinking, like, I think all the time, but my mind is so to the point where it's like, I really want to help people and myself date better and be able to be open, like come to the conversation being open and not hurt and talking about your fears, because we all have them. That's the crazy thing. Like, why are we trying to hide things that we already know we have problems with? And that's why I will never have an event, never have a dating is dead event without a therapist there, or a dating coach, or both, probably both. Because we're scared. Like, people are dating scared. And I don't like that. I don't like it for myself, because it's like you coming up with a representative that's not like, I'm not going to show him all of me. But why wouldn't you? Like, all of you is beautiful. All of you is beautiful. All of me is beautiful. And I got some headache parts to me. But for the most part, like, I'm a good person. I really, really am. But I want to be able to be open and expressive to you. And so I just wanted to help somebody today who stop sabotaging your success. Stop sabotaging your relationships. I know I took it to a relationship part because I am actively dating, and that's where I see it the most. My friends had to point it out, like, Regan, you are really like picking these people apart to the fact that you're not going to have anybody if you keep doing this. And I'm like, yeah, you're right. But I was coming from a place of fear that I know I deserve, you know, somebody to love me unconditionally and me love them. Like, I know I deserve that, but I'm afraid to really get it, which is crazy. That's kind of like success. Like, I work so hard and don't really want to go through that door because it's like, oh my gosh, what am I going to do when I get it? You know, you know, all these things that, you know, I ask God for in a man, or, you know, with my business, and I get it. I don't want to mess it up. You know what I'm saying? And then there comes that overthinking, like, oh my gosh, am I going to mess it up if he likes me? Am I going to say something wrong? Or, you know, it's too much thinking. And I don't like that. Okay, Dina, you say, oh my God, you're talking my life scared of hurt, but I do therapy every 2 weeks to help with tools. Yeah, definitely. I don't know. I think we're on the right track when it comes to getting help. Like I always, I'm just an advocate for having healthy conversations. We have all been hurt. We've all had trauma. We've all had bad relationships. I don't think anybody in this world has had a bad, just a wonderful relationship. You've been hurt either with your mom, your dad, somewhere in your family, a romantic relationship. We've all been hurt. And that if we don't fix it and if we don't talk about it, we're not really going to be able to move on effectively and be great in that next relationship. And one thing I know about me, like I know I want to do and be better than I was yesterday. Always. I just do. And I was telling somebody yesterday, like, how can I lead, a group, or how can I lead a business or be a leader and I'm not learning? Like I should never stop learning. Because if I don't learn anything, how am I going to come back and tell anybody else? Right? I would just be pulling things out of the air. And especially with the dating thing, like, I don't know. It's funny because somebody called me a dating guru. And I'm like, yeah, no, I'm not a dating guru. I know absolutely nothing about dating. But what I can tell you is based off of my experience. What I can tell you is based out of conversations that I have, because I have a lot of conversations day to day because I love to hear people talk. I love to hear what they say. I love to hear how they think. And one thing, ladies, I will definitely tell you this, and I've said it before, is we have to be patient with our men, especially our black men, because they have run into some sisters or some women, if they're not dating sisters or whatever, who have taken them down through there. And as we know, some men don't heal as quickly as women when it comes to love. They just don't. And they don't trust. They're not ready to trust. So even if, let's just say I meet this guy and he likes me and I appear to be like, oh my gosh, this is the one, but he's scared of me and he keeps me at bay because of what happened in his past relationships with these other women who have treated him poorly. Oh, she's just gonna do the same thing, so I'm just gonna treat her like whatever. When technically I could be the woman of his dreams, but he's treating me like trash. And not on purpose, but he does it. Well, you say, Jackie, yes, but it's not fair to hold new people. It's not fair, but it happens all the time. Listen to me. I have so many conversations with men. I had them before, let me see. When I was starting Dating is Dead, Who Killed It, back almost a year ago when I was starting it back up, I made it my business to speak to a lot of different men. And most of them had the same issue, where they had been in just terrible relationships with women. And it was crazy because in some of those stories, I actually saw myself. And we have to always learn how to self-evaluate in our relationships and have meetings. I said I will never be in another relationship where I'm not having a meeting with my mate. Babe, how are we doing? What is it you need from me? Let me tell you what I need from you. Because you can really get like going on with your day. It get monotonous. You going to work, he going to work, and your paths are crossing. Y'all might be having sex. But there's still a disconnect. I don't want that into my relationships anymore. Like I don't. I have to have. I require communication. I require it. Because I know what it feels like to be in a relationship and not being able to say and feel what you want to feel. And it wasn't necessarily on purpose, but I just didn't have the tools to. I didn't learn to get the tools until he left. And then when I got him, I was like, I'm in the wrong relationship. Should have never been here. Good guy, but wrong person for me. What'd you say all the time? It's real. We need to be healed. Absolutely. And that is my goal for Dating is Dead. That's my goal for me. Like I said, with all of my businesses, they're all based out of something that I need to learn for myself. And so in the sense of me learning for myself, I'm going to bring others with me so we can always learn and have that conversation. I want to be able to have a group of people who are not scared to take the wall down, who are not scared to say, you know what, I really do like you. I really do want to see you, without fear of being rejected. I know I talked to my dating coach when I first hired my dating coach. He talked to me about rejection because he was like, Regan, you're going to have to learn to put yourself out there. And I was like, I don't do that. I don't want to do that. Even now, like I can, it's weird for me to be talking to a guy and I want to see him. Like I want to see him. He's in close proximity for me to see him. But I don't want to ask. I don't want to say, I want to see you. Sometimes I don't want to do that, especially if he ain't said it. If he hadn't asked me to say, Regan, I want to see you, or I want to spend time with you, or I want to take you out, I don't want to say it. Why? Because I'm feeling like, well, he should have been said something. So why am I going to say something? He'd be like, well, but it's a fear of rejection. And we can't date scared. I'm talking to myself. We can't date scared. Like, we need to be able to say what we want. And I am which is crazy because I'm the queen of saying what I want. Because I'm spoiled like that. I'm used to getting what I want. I'm used to asking and receiving. But when it comes to dating, not so much. Not so much. I can really be thinking about you. I can really be wanting to see you. And I just won't say anything. But I'm tired of that. And I know my friends are like, just go with the flow. I'm not good at going with the flow because I am a control freak. I'm a control person. I'm getting better though. But one thing about me is I can admit my faults and work on them. Right? I can admit my faults and I can work on them. So, I don't know. I just wanted to talk to you guys about self-sabotage, and just to let you know that you do deserve the best. You do deserve the best. And don't sabotage your success. Don't sabotage your business success. Even with me, sometimes with business, I don't want to say, hey, I'm Regan Adams with All Things Regan, and I have Fat Girl Food and Eat Dating is Dead, and I'm coming as a representative of these businesses to be able to have X, Y, and Z. And I would like to be able to work with your company in X, Y, and Z. I'm scared to say that sometimes because in my mind, sometimes my business seems very small. And they may look at me like, but a closed mouth doesn't get fed, right? If you don't ask, you won't receive. If you don't knock, the door will not be open. That is the word, right? So that's everything in our life. That's success. That's relationships. That's friendships. A lot of women that I see also have putting me first and selfish, which is my women's empowerment event section of my business. I see a lot of women over the age of 30 who their lives have changed. And they may not have the same friends that they had before. It's okay to make new girlfriends. We have to come from a healing place. Like, I absolutely cannot stand when I hear a woman say, I don't fool with other women. Because at that point, I'm going to say, sis, you need to heal. You need to heal. Because it's you, not them. Like, we have to remove the excuses of why we do what we do, right? We can't. Gone are the days that we say, that's just me. My mama used to talk about that when I was younger. And I love to say that. Oh, that's just me. That's just me. That's how I am. And they just going to have to accept it. No grown person that really wants something for themselves is going to accept that's just me. I'm not. Because I actively try to change for the better every day. So I'm definitely not going to be with somebody who's saying, well, that's just me. And I'm stubborn. Listen to me. I will hold on to something to listen to me. In 2.3 seconds. Okay, what'd you say, Jackie? What about when you make the first moves to put yourself out there, but yet they still be distant with you? So when you announce you're about to pull back on the energy, you announce that you're about to pull back on the energy based on their energy, and they draw back to you as if They don't want you to stop. Girl, listen to me. It's just a part of it. I don't want to say a part of the game, but it's a part of the dating. It is. And here's the thing I have learned. I do match energy. It's hard. It's really, really hard. Man, I want to tell a story. I can't. Don't make announcements. I've learned that. Silence, listen to me. Silence is a good thing. Silence is really loud. I've learned that well, not the hard way. I remember I learned this actually in my marriage. And I've told this story before because Boo and I used to be like, just back and forth. And I'm not an argumentative person. So I was never the one to do all of that. He had a mouthpiece, right? I was not an argumentative person. But then the Holy Spirit told me one day, Regan, just be quiet. Just be quiet. Don't say anything. And when I was quiet, that allowed everybody to be able to calm down and us to be able to talk. But also, being quiet is loud in the sense that if they're not contacting you, if they're not doing what they need to do, or you feel like, they're reciprocating what you're putting out, don't say nothing. And if they want to talk to you, they'll talk to you. And if they don't, they don't. Some people just fall off. And I've learned that with dating. And I've had to learn it like that because especially on a dating app, you go through so many people. Some people don't stick. Like they just don't stick. You may have 2 or 3 people that you talk to on a regular basis. I have one that I talk to every day. Just to be really clear, not talk, but talk and text. I have one person, but I have several that, I may just kind of go through and it's really nothing. But I've learned not to say much and I match whatever they give. Now there's sometimes that, like you said, I have put myself out there. I put myself out there twice to be exact. And I don't like at this point, if they don't reciprocate what I put out, I'm not doing it again. Like I'm definitely matching energy with everybody. So once I do put myself out there and I say, look, hey, I want to see you, or hey, I want to spend some time with you. And we may do that. If you're not saying you want to spend some time with me, or you're not saying you want to take me out, I'm not going to say anything else. And I can really want to see you. Why should I have to say something all the time? And here's the thing, which we talked about. I don't feel like, and I don't want to say this to sound conceited. I really, really don't. But I'm going to say it anyway. I don't think anybody should chase anybody. They shouldn't. I'm definitely not going to chase anybody because I don't have to. And I'm not, trust me, I'm not saying that to be conceited. But I don't. I don't. I'm not hard up. Listen to me. I'm not hard up to date anybody. I'm not. And like I said this a while ago. If I wanted to be in a relationship right now, like if I wanted to be in a relationship when I first got on the dating app, I could have been. But that's not necessarily what I'm looking for. Like whoever I date, it's gotta be right. Like it's gotta, like the next person that I'm with, I know who God has for me. It ain't just random Joe Schmo. And so that's why I say I'm not in a rush. Like I'm dating, I'm having fun, I'm going out on dates or whatever, but I'm not rushing it. I'm learning. Like dating to me, yes, I'm getting information, but I'm learning more about myself. I'm learning what to do, what not to do, what I like, what I don't like, in them or myself. You know what I'm saying? This gnats, oh my gosh. Why are gnats alive? What'd you say, Jackie? It's a guy I'm not attracted to, but our energy is something unusual and it can't be denied when we are in each other's presence. I have held back on dating because I didn't want to get involved. Snap. I didn't want to get involved and he come and I sabotage what I have going on. I have the need to know what that energy is about. I say, I have got to watch how I say my stuff. I say keep him around and keep doing you. Just keep doing you. I'm going to be honest. I'm going to be really honest when I say this. And I had this conversation with somebody today. I don't like dating multiple people. I don't. I really, because listen, I don't have time. Like, I don't have time. I just don't. I would love the fact to be able to get to know somebody and just date them and it just be a wrap. And maybe even if it's not like serious, where we just like relationship, but at least just enough to hang out when I want. You know what I'm saying? I don't want to go and hang out with Ricky, Bobby, Johnny. I don't want to do all of that. I'm too busy and I have a daughter, like, and I need to have time for myself. Like, I don't want to do that. So my suggestion to you, if you are okay with like multiple date, and who, you know, we have control over our time. So if you want to continue to see where his energy is and what y'all got going on, just give him a little bit more of your time. I wouldn't tell him that, but I would just give him a little bit more of your time and see what's happening. Because at the end of the day, everybody's going to weed themselves out. Somebody going to get tired of talking. Somebody going to get tired of texting. People going to fall off. People going to come out. Like, they just going to get tired. And unless he comes to you and says, I don't know, unless he comes to you and says, you know, hey, I'm getting ready to, I just want to be with you. I mean, hey, I don't know. But I'm going to hop off here. I was not trying to be on here that long. Did anybody have any other questions, cares, or concerns? Oh, I did want to let you guys know that we decided to do, if you didn't see earlier, that we're going to do Dating is Dead, Who Killed It. We're going to do it in the Smoky Mountains next year. So I'm super duper excited about that. It will be a weekend event. Not quite sure what that's going to look like, but I am going to start working on it this weekend and just kind of put pen to paper and talk about that. But those two things are my babies. So I know when people say, well, Regan, what do you do? I do a lot of stuff, but the one main thing that I do is host events. I love events. I love bringing people together and learning and have a good time and meeting people and making sure that they're walking in their calling that God gave them. As far as relationships are concerned, I believe God is bringing together kingdom connections, and that's not only in relationships as far as men and women are concerned, but also in friendships and in business. And I want to make sure that conversation is being had, right? And that we're not scared of that when it comes, and just making sure that we're living our best life from the inside out, basically, because that's what I want to do. And everybody that's around me, I want to be able to impact them to be able to do the same thing. We only have one life, and I want to enjoy it. I want to enjoy my life. I want people around me to enjoy my life, or their life, not mine. Well, mine too. But I just wanted to talk about self-sabotage. Like, we deserve so much, and we get in our own way of having the things that we want. And if you want that relationship, if you want that person, say it. Like, don't be scared. And I know it's easier to say than it being done, but I'm gonna put myself out there just a little bit, not to everybody, but I just want to have genuine conversations and see where it goes and let the chips fall where they may. But I'm not really in a hurry. But if something comes, it comes. And I'm in position to be found when it does. So anyway, you guys have a blessed night. I am Regan Adams with All Things Regan. And Regan says, I think it, I see it, I do it. It seems like I want to tell y'all something else. I think that's it. Good night, guys.